Psychologically shattering and violently destructive Imperial Guard artillery strikes are feared across the galaxy. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to paint the Astra Militarum Field Ordnance Battery to a battle-ready standard. Now, as you can see here, the crew have actually been painted up separately from the rest of the miniature. This just makes the painting process much easier, allowing us to get to those harder to reach areas. And if you'd like to see how to paint Cadian troops, you can check that out in a previous video. Now, as for the battery itself, we've undercoated that with Chaos Black. So starting off our base coats, we're starting with Lead Belcher for all those silver details. Then we've got Nocturne Green, Caliban Green and Castellan Green for all the various green areas on the model. So let's get some Lead Belcher onto the palette here. A little bit more and add some water. Then we're just going to pick out all of those silver areas on the miniature. There's quite a lot of these and you'll definitely want to do a couple of coats on each area. Next we'll be using Nocturne Green to pick out the dark green areas. This includes the gun carriage, the inner wheels and this area at the front. And don't forget to do the feet. Next we're going to use Caliban Green for the armour plates. Make sure you thin this down with quite a bit of water and build it up with a few layers of paint. This is just because it's a flat surface and we want to avoid any texture building up on the model. With about 4 layers of that applied, we're now going to move on to the ammo crate, and for this we're going to use Castellan Green. Same again, we've thinned this down quite a lot and we'll build it up with a few layers. And with that done, we've just got a few details left to pick out. So we're going to use Steel Legion Drab, Balthazar Gold and Grey Seer for those final details. So let's get some Steel Legion Drab here onto the palette. Thin it down. There we go, we don't need too much. We're just going to use this to pick out the rope handles on the ammo crate there. With that done, we're now going to use Balthazar Gold just to paint the shell casing in the ammo crate. Be as neat as you can here, but if you do make any mistakes, just use some Abaddon Black or Castellan Green to tidy back up. Next, we're going to use Grey Seer and we're just going to pick out this screen here. Now we're doing this because we're going to apply contrast over the top of it in a minute. With all our base coats done, we're now going to move on to our shades and contrast. So we're going to start off with Rattling Grime, thinned down with contrast medium. This is going on the silver and some of the green areas. Then we'll be using Norn Oil on the dark green areas and then Blood Angels Red on that screen. So we're going to take 1 part contrast medium onto the palette here. Clean off the brush and dry it off. Then 1 part Rattling Grime and mix that together there. There we go, make sure you've not got too much on your brush. And we're going to start off by applying this all over the silver areas. This will also be going all over that green ammo crate. With the same mix of Rattling Grime and Contrast Medium, we're going to apply this as a recessed shade onto the armour plates. This means just focusing it into those recesses. With all those sections looking nice and grimy, we're now going to apply Norn Oil onto those dark green areas. We've taken this straight from the pot. Next we're going to apply Blood Angels Red over that grey screen. With that done, we can now move on to the base. So for this, we're going to apply Sterling Battlemire all over the base, and then we're going to shade that down with Rattling Grime. So with our texture tool, we're going to take the large end and start applying that all over the base. Once this is done, you'll want to leave it for about an hour to dry. You can use the smaller end of the tool to carefully move the texture around the miniature. Once that's dry, we're going to apply Rattling Grime all over it. Again, we've taken this straight from the pot. With the base finished, the only thing left to do is paint the rim of the base in a colour that matches the rest of your army. In this case, we've used Steel Legion Drab. Now our Field Ordnance Battery is finished, complete with transfers, ready to shell targets into oblivion. So there's just a couple of things to remember when you're painting this miniature. After using metallics, it's a good idea to change your paint water. This will just avoid any metallic flakes getting into your non-metallic paints. Also, when you're base coating, be as neat as you can, as it will provide a better end result. But don't worry, if you do make any mistakes, you can always just tidy back up with the previous colours. Well, that's the end of the video. We hope you've enjoyed watching, and we hope you have great fun painting your own miniatures. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!